I'm Dr. Heather Brown, and I've been asked to talk about not letting your past define you. And when you think about that, it's an interesting concept because if you're letting your past define you, you're not really utilizing the present. And how you were in the past, what you went through, if it defines you, it means by the dictionary's definition that that is how you were known, that is who you are. But it doesn't leave room and space for where you move beyond. So what if we change it for letting your past guide you? You've gone through everything that you've gone through for whatever reason, and you've had to learn from it and adapt from it and grow from it and change from it. And so it is all part of who you are, but it's only part of you up to this moment. And it only signifies what it signifies based upon the power that you give it. Only you know the reasons you made the choices that you made. And I'm sure, like most of us, you made the very best choices you could in that moment with what you knew. And now looking back with hindsight, you might have done some things differently. But if you did, you wouldn't be where you are now, which is precisely where you are to be. So you have lived your past, and everything you've gone through is part of your heritage. It's part of your legacy. It's part of who you become now. But it's really important that you don't let those labels, I was abused, or I was left, or I was abandoned, or I was a victim, to become your brand mark of who you are. You've gone through situations. It doesn't have to define who you are. It's an experience that you encountered. It's a part of your life's journey. And that doesn't take away the power of it at all, which you don't want to. You went through what you went through, and you want to embrace that and hold on to that. But that is what has helped you become who you are now and who you are becoming. So let's move into the next part. How are you using this time? How are you taking all that you've learned and all that you've gone through to let now be important? Your choices, your changing, all happens in the present. And it depends upon what you believe for yourself, what you allow for yourself, what you focus for yourself. And if you're caught holding on to what you have gone through, then it's impacting now, and there's a little place to do some work to let yourself come to the place of movement or freedom so that you can live more actively and presently in this current minute. You might decide right now, I no longer am going to smoke. Well, now you are no longer a smoker. So your past doesn't define you. It was a part of you, but now you've changed that. I used to be a smoker, not I am. We can change at any moment that we give ourselves that opportunity to change. And then, of course, we need to put the action steps in for what that will be. Now, who we decide to be now will determine who we become. So instead of the past being the one that defines you, it's important to move to the place of the past guides you. The present is where you decide. And then what you become is off of now. It's off of your current choices. It's off of who you want to be in this present moment, and who from that you decide to be going ahead. There's a beautiful saying that if you are depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you are at peace and calm, you're living in the present. And right now, in this moment, irregardless of what you have been through, is all your power. Everything that you need is right now in this moment with you until you decide that there is more for you to have, or more for you to learn, or something different for you to experience. So all those situations you went through, all those opportunities and relationships and experiences have brought you to this moment. And this is accumulation of all that you are. And right now is the doorway to who you choose to become. That is up to you. You can always change something by deciding you will change it and then coming up with an action plan to do it differently. And if you find yourself falling back into old habits, catching yourself, hopefully gently, to remind yourself that you're starting to pick up behaviors that are going to draw you back into a way that no longer serves you. The key is to look at everything that you've gone through and to decide, how does this serve you now? How does this empower you now? How can you take all of your experience and all of your knowledge, all of your relationships, and let that be a gift to this moment so that you realize you are all of what you have ever been. And in the second, you are all of who you are becoming. You're so much more than you once were. And there's so much more ahead that you have yet to create. The magic is in you right now, if you allow that for yourself. And then that starts to become part of your life purpose, your life journey, your life passion. How do you utilize all of you? And how do you grow beyond you? And who is it that you're wanting to become? And how do you nurture yourself in that? And help yourself in that? And guide yourself in that to reach those places that you want to go, to achieve those goals that you have, and to be really grateful of who you are now. We don't need to look back at situations and say, oh, I handled that right, or I'm so glad that happened. There's a lot of things we go through that we might not wish we had gone through, but there still is a lot to learn there. I've worked with a lot of cancer patients. I've never had a cancer patient say that they were grateful they got cancer, or they were happy they got cancer, or they enjoyed the journey. Not one. But I also have not had one tell me that they would never take away what the cancer taught them, who they chose to become. And that's really the key. To look at all that you have gone through and to tell yourself, look who I have chosen to become. I got myself out of that relationship. I stopped that pattern or that behavior. I gave myself a different opportunity. What do you give to you? And that's in the moment. That's in the present. What do I give to myself right now? Do I give to myself space? Do I give to myself exploration? Do I give to myself community, support, knowledge, trial and error, the opportunity to fail and learn and grow and become so much more than that was? Failure is such a funny word because it's really not. It's just a lesson. It's just a lesson of what you need to know that you didn't yet know, and how awesome that is. Change and growth is glorious. There's a saying that I think is so funny, which is you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And if you look at human beings, look how much we've changed. We came into the world a baby. Look at all that we've learned. It doesn't matter how old you are. It might be a little harder to pick up a new habit because you're used to something, but there is no truth, and you cannot change. You cannot grow. Of course you can. Of course you can. As long as you keep applying, as long as you keep desiring, as long as you keep making that your choice to let this moment grow you beyond and beyond and beyond. The past doesn't define you. The past is what you came from. It's part of your heritage. And it's up to you to decide, well, what will be the legacy? And the legacy starts in this very present moment of who you are now, who you are choosing to be, and how you will use that to bless yourself and hopefully a lot of people who come into contact with you. You are becoming more of you right now. So take that in and be blessed by that. Be excited by that. Be challenged by that.